Good morning and welcome to Mornings on Main Street for this Thursday, the 25th of May. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. Thanks so much for joining us for your Thursday morning. Hope you're getting off to a great start today. We have a fun show, as always, in store for you. We are sharing the last in our conversation with longtime journalist and writer Tim Ghianni. You can read more from Tim by grabbing his book, Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes, My Personal Time with Music City Friends and Legends in Rock and Roll, R&B, and a whole lot of country. Well, small businesses, they contribute so much to local economies. They do it in a number of ways. Two ways are bringing in innovation and growth. Well, this morning, we are hearing from one of the owners of All Access Coach Leasing in Gallatin. He shares with us how the business got started 20 years ago and why they give the way they do to the community there in Gallatin. And then this morning, we are revisiting an interview that we did with the author of a children's book called Handpicked. Serina Marshall is a beautiful writer who helps other adopted boys and girls and their parents through her own story of adoption. But first, let's get a check of our headlines. Anyone with information is asked to come forward with information on the Christmas Day road rage murder of a Greenbrier man on Interstate 24 West. 37-year-old Christopher Sponhorst was fatally shot while driving his Ford F-150 pickup truck by a black 2016-2020 Kia Optima sedan. Now, multiple shots were fired into his driver's side door and window between the Shelby Avenue and James Robertson Parkway exits. Again, this happened around noon Christmas Day. A $20,000 reward is now being offered. For a better look at the picture that you see here and additional information, please go to mainstreetmediatv.com. Well, this month, it is National Military Appreciation Month. Recently, the Robertson County chapter of the Tennessee Firearms Association recognized two outstanding local veterans at their monthly dinner at the American Legion Post 45 in Greenbrier, because of their generosity and helpfulness when it's needed. John Chris Orndorff, a retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel and Special Agent with the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, and then Hugh Nichols, a well-respected Staff Sergeant with the United States Marine Corps and a past post commander of the American Legion, Post 45, were the two recipients of the awards. You can read more and check out additional pictures by going to murfreesboropost.com. Congratulations, you guys. I love that you give back the way you do. Well, recently there was a groundbreaking of two solar farms at its 140-acre site at Rossview Road and Interstate 24 in Clarksville. Here's a look at a picture from the event. The two solar farms, with another one located on Wedgwood Drive, will generate enough reliable, low-cost energy to help serve more than 1,000 households annually. This was a collaboration done between the Tennessee Valley Authority, CDE Light Band, and the main player, Silicon Ranch, and the city of Clarksville. Find out more by visiting mainstreetclarksville.com. The weekend is getting closer and closer. We can all feel it. I'm sure we're already planning things to do this weekend. What is that weather going to be like? We're going to check in with Tennessee Valley Weather for that answer.
Good Thursday to you. I'm Kelly Rawson here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with a check at your forecast for the rest of today and heading into the holiday weekend. We have another chance and a small chance for showers and maybe a thunderstorm moving through the rest of this afternoon. But for this morning, we stay mostly dry, a few clouds filtering in within the next few hours, and then we will see a line of very broken showers into central, the middle portion of the state, and then it will move down eventually and dying as it does so, heading into southern middle Tennessee. You can see that here fading away on Futurecast and then drying out for the overnight, and starting off Friday on a dry note, but clouds will begin to filter in, and we have a rain chance once again for Friday afternoon. Here's your 7-day forecast from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. We're looking at high temperature for today in the lower 80s, 80 for Friday. A little bit on the cooler side, but I mean slightly, just into the upper 70s for Saturday and Sunday to kick off the Memorial Day weekend. Just a stray, maybe isolated shower or two, maybe a thunderstorm on Saturday afternoon. But overall, we are going to be dry on Sunday with a partly to mostly cloudy sky, and then heading into an actual Memorial Day, looking at temperatures in the lower 80s with just a stray rain chance possible.
Thank you. Now it's time to share the last of our conversation with writer and author Tim Ghianni. It was again a pleasure talking with him and sharing his story with all of you. And of course, his new book, Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes, my personal time with Music City friends and legends in rock and roll, R&B, and a whole lot of country, which you can find his book at bookstores. But here's the last of our conversation. Take a listen. Is there anything else that you would like to share that I may not have asked you that, you think would be something that people could walk away with from this interview to know about Music City as a whole and the people that used to walk the streets there?
Well, Stephanie, thank you. I think, of course, it's in the book, but basically, Nashville still, to tell you the story, to elaborate a little bit, Nashville's still a really great place. It's a really great city, but it has changed dramatically. And part of the story, an underlying theme of this book, is not only the disappearance of these great older artists in the most cases, but also the change in the city. And I wanted to illustrate that. I did prefer the city where you could see the state capitol from just about any place. I liked it. I liked Music Row before it became what I refer to now as as sort of a honky tonk Disney World. It's a wonderful place for tourists and visiting business people to go, and I recommend people go down there. But it's not what it was. Just like the music, and I have friends, current musicians. I do try to follow some of them, but the music is not the same as these people who created. This book is about the folks who actually created Music City. Now I didn't know Hank Williams, so he's not in there except by reference, but I did know Earl Scruggs and Mac Wiseman, who played with flat top guitar player with Flatt and Scruggs and helped form the Country Music Association. I mean, all these people, Cash, I knew. Chris Christopherson remains a great friend, and he was the guy who changed the vocabulary of country music. There'd never been anything but him, and anything like him before he came. Bobby Bare, who was my first acquaintance in Nashville, and there's a long story about that early in the book, about how I met Bare in the summer of 1972. But he remains somebody I call at least once a week. The same formula as I used to call all 30 people now. There aren't so many, but I still call these people to make sure that I call Bear just because he's a great friend. He and I consider ourselves the best of friends. And Chris also, I mostly communicate with his wife, Lisa, but we're still very close. So I don't know if that answered your question, though.
It does. I love that. And I just thank you that you shared all of this. And I hope people will go out and find your book, Tim Ghianni, The Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes, now out in bookstores. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, it's in bookstores in Nashville. And it was when I was up speaking in Clarksville. It was in the Books A Million up there. It was probably other stores. It's in some bookstores around the country. And I'm hoping it gets into more places. But it's also available you can look online in any online retailer, not just Amazon, but if you don't do Amazon, there are several others. In Nashville, all Parnassus and Country Music Hall of Fame has it. Their museum store. Grimey's, the great used record store in East Nashville, they've got it, and a lot and Barnes and Noble and all those folks do have it. And I hope that the people check out their local bookstores to see if they have it, and if they don't have it, tell them to order it and keep some in stock. But otherwise, it's available online.
Tim Ghianni, thank you so much. An honor and a privilege just to talk with you today. I appreciate you and appreciate you capturing all of the stories that you did. Tim Ghianni, again, author, storyteller. You can find his book in bookstores, Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Stephanie, very, very much. Have a great day.
You too. Stick right here with us on Mornings on Main Street. We have so much more coming up right after this.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Vote for us in Best Burger, Best Dessert, Best Overall Restaurant, Best to Go, Best Dining Deal.
Vote for Area 51 Tech Solutions for Best Computer and Electronic Repair in Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. There is such beauty in the businesses that are in each and every community. And you know what? They all have a story of how they got started, how they got going, and what they contribute to the communities that they serve. So we're talking with one business out of Gallatin, Tennessee. It is All Access Coach Leasing. We are talking with one of the co-owners, Eric Blankenship, his other co-owner, Jim Borelli. Again, Eric, thank you so much for your time.
You bet. Thank you.
So first, share with all of us, those who are in Gallatin, they know who you are, I'm sure. Again, you've made a lot of contributions that we'll get into, but you just recently, last year, celebrated your 20th anniversary, correct?
That is correct. We started February of 2002 in a little rented building with $5,000 cash and a $10,000 credit card. And later that day, we were broke. And here we are 21 years into it now and still going strong.
Well, let's talk about as you built that business, in that 20-year period, what have you guys seen as far as, the type of business that you run with the coaches, the buses that you put out on the road?
Well, when we started, we actually had buses that other people owned that they gave us to run. And we took 10% of the money and did the maintenance on them. And then after about 6 months of that, we started getting prepared to buy equipment. And so we would buy a bus. We would have it built by a converter that was off actually in Roanoke, Virginia at the time. And so for up till about 2014 or so, we didn't build our own buses. We had them built. And then of course, we did away with all the investor-owned stuff. We own everything and we run it that way now. But we started in 2015 building the interiors of our buses also. So we're a full-fledged, all in-house business where we manufacture that bus here in Gallatin.
That is incredible. And some of your clients, and as I was going through the list, you have like Martina McBride, Jason Aldean, that's been a client, and I could keep going on with this full list, but go to their website, All Access Coaching Leasing, Coach Leasing, to see more of those clients. But share your kind of relationship with country music and what it means to you to still work with those individuals.
Well, it's kind of, for me, I'm a little in awe because I grew up singing. I moved to Nashville in 1992 to be a singer-songwriter. I still sing, still write, but to be able to hang out with guys that you listened to growing up and that you idolized is pretty cool to be able to say, hey, that they're my friends. So, people like Jimmy Fortune, George Strait, Jason Aldean, the list, Josh Turner, it goes on and on, Martina, all of those guys. So it's kind of cool to be friends with them.
Do you need any help ever, anytime? I have so much time that I'd love to come and help.
We're actually hiring right now. So.
Oh, shoot. And more so than that, what you guys give back to the community, because without this business, what you bring in, you wouldn't be able to give what you do to Gallatin. And kind of going through some of the contributions that you've made to your community. The Food Bake Challenge you did worked with. You donated $100,000 to the Miracle Park there for the handicap area. Can you share more about the giving back there to Gallatin?
Growing up as a kid, I lived in a small town, and I watched how the businesses in that town supported schools, special projects and things like that. And I thought that was always so neat, the way the community gave back. The businesses gave back to the community. So I thought, you know what, I want to make sure that our company is known as a contributor to where we live. And I'll be honest with you, the things that we do probably do not get us a quote client, but it's called goodwill, and I think that's important to do where you live. And we get the benefits every day of just the way we're treated in town and the way people treat us. We just want to show that if you have a chance, you ought to invest where you live and where you work.
Well, what is that saying? Like, if you give, that good will be brought back to you, or it's something along those lines. And something that you guys received in 2018, in my eyes, kind of shows what that community thinks of you, and that is the Citizen of the Year award.
Yeah, they gave that to me, and that's I was actually shocked and humbled, but that really should have been a two-folded thing, because
Gotcha.
My partner Jim is just as much a part of all of this. His deal is he hates to be in the spotlight, so I kind of get shoved up front, and he's kind of in the back. But he is so instrumental in what we do, and him and I are on the same team on giving and being a part of the community.
Now, how did you guys create that partnership? How do you know Jim?
Well, Jim and I worked together at another company called Music City Coach that used to be here in Gallatin, okay. and that's how we met. Jim's from Indiana, and I'm originally from Texas.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that relationship was forged, and here you are today. How have you guys? What has changed in the 20 years between the two of you?
Goodness. Well, more family, a bigger business, a bigger building, a lot more headaches, but we talk about it. We joke a little bit. We never actually thought that we would be doing all the things that we're doing. We bought this building that we're in 2008, and we had a renter in the back half, and we were like, we just said it the other day, said, man, I'm so glad they're here because they help us pay the mortgage. And 2 years later, we were saying, we need you to leave. We got to have the room. And we're currently expanding again. So it's pretty nice.
I'd say so. Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you. And for anyone out there in a community, in a growing community, Gallatin is another fast growing area here in Tennessee, and they want to start their business. Do you have any advice for them? Any points that you could, share with us?
Absolutely. Always do what you say you're going to do. Follow up, be honest, and remember that your integrity is worth more than any money you make. And that's how we've done our business. And I think that's why we've been so successful. Is we've done things that's cost us money, but we said we were going to do, and we really probably couldn't afford to do them at the time. But we have yet to miss payments on anything, and even through COVID, as bad as that was, we survived that, and we're able to come out on the other side in better shape, really, than we were before COVID. So.
That's wonderful to hear. And is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would love to share, either about, personally, about the business, All Access Coach Leasing there in Gallatin?
Well, the business is hopefully going to be a second generation. Jim's son is our shop foreman, works in the shop. My son, Dallas, works in the front office. And so we're training them to hopefully take our spots and continue this business, so it will continue to be the legacy for Gallatin that we tried to create.
I love that. Well, then you're not going to lose touch with me, because I would love to sit down with the four of you.
Okay.
And to hear how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Love to.
Thank you so much. So again, All Access Coach Leasing. We have Eric Blankenship. I appreciate your time. His partner,
Absolutely.
Jim Borelli. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Anytime. I look forward to connecting with you again. All right. Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street, because we're not done here yet. We have more for you. We'll be right back.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
Vote for us Best Burgers and Breakfast in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. We look forward to serving you. Thank you for your vote.
Please vote Pamela with First Lending Solutions online Best Mortgage Lender in Main Street Awards Best of Dixon County. Thank you for your vote.
The topic of adoption can be a challenging one if you're a parent or guardian telling a child that they've been adopted, or if there's a child asking that parent or guardian about their story. However, there are so many resources out there that are available. One, books that you can find. And there is one very special book called Handpicked. We have the author of the book, Serina Marshall, with us this morning. First off, Serina, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'm very excited to talk about this.
You know, I'm excited to share this because you have a special story when it comes to adoption, and you know personally how difficult or challenging maybe that conversation you can have. So can you kind of dive in a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I was adopted by my grandparents when I was 3 years old. And so growing up, I didn't really have a lot of resources telling me that it was okay to be adopted. I grew up thinking there was something wrong with me, that I wasn't loved. They gave me up because there was, something that they didn't like about me. And so I actually grew up thinking that, I was an orphan because kids are cruel. And so they would tell me, oh, your parents didn't want you, so you're an orphan. And then it starts to get into your head. And as I grew up, though, my parents did a wonderful job telling me, no, it's because you are loved that we adopted you. That's why we specially handpicked you to be ours. And so that helped me put it in a different light. And so I wanted to use that for other kids who may be in foster care or looking to be adopted, to let them know there's nothing wrong with you. You are so loved. And that's why people are wanting to adopt you and take you in to make you theirs. They love you that much. They want you that much. And just letting kids know how special they are.
How did you make that decision? Okay, I want to write this book to share my experience to help others.
A lot of it came from the bullying growing up. Then my sister is a special needs teacher. And so she actually has talked to some students who they were adopted to, and they felt the same things I did. And I was like, do they really have any resources yet, that kids can understand? Mm-hmm. And so what kind of pushed me off to do it was I moved back home from Orlando in 2018 to help take care of my father, who was the one who adopted me. He had dementia. And I realized I had never actually put into words what they had done for me and how they had made me feel so loved when I felt so alone. And that's when the idea for Handpicked came, was because I wanted him to know that I loved them and what they did for me, because my mother passed in 2005. And so neither of them got to see the book come to fruition, but it was that push to let him know how I really felt about what they had done for me that made me decide to start writing the book.
Sometimes it's the illustration on the front of the page that can grab someone's attention on, kind of that look of it. How did you go with the illustration that you went with the picture?
Well, this is the book, or the cover of it. And if you notice the little red-haired girl, that's actually,
It's got to be you.
It's totally me. My illustrator, Sierra Palmer, I gave her a bunch of photos. I was like, here's me as a kid. Here's us doing these things. Do your magic. And so that's actually taken from a photo of me when I was about 7 years old, because I did used to have pigtails and everything like that. So she just took all of that and brought it to life. The mother and father in it don't look exactly like my mom and dad that adopted me, because for me, I thought that would be a little too hard for me to see, since they're both not here anymore. And so, but I took pictures of them when they were younger and things, and kind of we morphed them into an idea. And so that's where that came from. And then actually the two butterflies on the cover, this is my dad, and then this is my mom. So they're featured on the cover as the butterflies. So that was where that whole thing came from. Is I literally just gave Sierra my life, and I said, "Here, turn me into a book." And so she did, and she was so respectful with everything. She was wanting to make sure that she was doing them justice in the story, and it was a wonderful process to get to do that. So I enjoyed it thoroughly.
What was that feeling for you when that first book that it came to you, you're able to review and look at and read through it? What was that feeling for you?
It was surreal. Yeah. It was very, wow, did I actually do that? Did I actually get this put, into, but I could talk forever about my mom and dad and what they did for me, and it would still never do justice to what they did for me. But actually, holding the book in my hand and seeing it, and seeing their story, because it's their story too, brought to life, and knowing that what they did for me can help other kids to know that they are loved. And so in a way, it's like my parents are loving all these other kids, just like they did me. And they're changing lives like they did mine. So it's so beautiful. And I'm very blessed that it was able to come to fruition like I wanted it to.
Well, I look forward to seeing what else you do, Serina. Again, thank you so much. Her book, Handpicked by Serina Marshall. You can find it on Amazon. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Anytime. Stick with us here on Mornings on Main Street, because we have more coming up after this.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon County is happening now. Please vote for Redbird Realty. We appreciate your support.
Vote for us Best Insurance in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon voting. Micah Blount State Farm Insurance. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. We were taking a look back this morning at last week's Rotary Club meeting on Wednesday. That is when the Clarksville Rotary Club celebrated 106 years in Clarksville. You're seeing here now a picture of some of the past presidents and the current president of the Clarksville Rotary Club. I would like to share, I am a fellow Rotarian and in this particular club, and it was so nice to be there for the celebration of 106 years in Clarksville. A wonderful group of people and Rotarians doing great work all over. Thanks so much for joining us here on Mornings on Main Street. If you have a story, if you have a cool job or someone's doing something interesting in your community, or if there is a location that you think may have a cool story, send it my way. Send it to smiller@mainstreetmediatn.com. I would love to check it out. Again, have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you back here on Friday morning.